Most times, pupils tend to be so disappointed when they see their scores that has to do with their essay or later writing questions. They start wondering why they should be getting scores like that when they've put in so much effort into their work. In today's lesson, we will be looking at a very important aspect of writing skills. We call it the Coema. The Coema is so important because it will teach you how to do things correctly when it comes to essay and later writing. Now, what is the Coema? The Coema is a guide that examiners use when marking an essay or a letter. Okay? Now it's important to the pupils because if you fully understand what the Coema is about, writing becomes easy for you. So you don't just write, but you write correctly. The Coema is an acronym that stands for this. The C is the content, the O is the organization, the E is the expression. Of course, we have the MA as the mechanical accuracy. Now, let's move straight into the very first part of the Coema, the content. What is the content about? The content deals with ideas presented. Here, the examiner checks if the writer's work is relevant to the central theme or let's say the question that has been given, okay? So if you've been asked to write an essay on your school, the examiner wants to check to be sure that you're actually writing on your school and not a typical raining day in your community, okay? Next, we have the organization. We'll look at the sequence of events, the good transitions. The examiner checks to know if your work has a beginning, a middle, and of course, an end. The examiner wants to know how your paper begins. Were things told in order? Does everything link to the message? How does your work end? The examiner is interested in all of this. Do you have a strong beginning? Are the details in order? Do they make sense? Are they connected? We want to check if an ending, if your work has an ending that ties up everything together. Okay? Now, in your organization, the writer is judged based on what he or she is writing. If it's an article, you're judged based on that. If it's a speech, a letter, you're judged based on the particular stuff that you're writing about. Okay? Now, aside from this, there's another thing that the examiner equally looks at when it comes to the organization in your work: linking words, how you use it, how you're able to connect one sentence to the other, to connect one event to the other, to link one scene in your work to the other. All these falls under the organization. Okay. Next, we have the expressions. One question you want to ask yourself here is, what would the examiner be interested in when it comes to the expressions? What would the examiner be interested in? The examiner wants to check for clarity, your sentence structure, good use of figurative languages. The examiner wants to be sure that you're actually passing your message across well without causing any form of confusion. It's easy to understand what it is you're writing about. Then we have the mechanical accuracy, where the spelling errors, punctuation errors, undeniable errors in grammar, all these are looked into by the examiner. Okay? Now, I want to explain the Coema using an essay on the member of my family I love most. I'm going to read out the essay to you. You can read along with me if you want to. If you don't, you can just listen. The member of my family I love most. The love of a family, whether immediate or extended, is life's greatest blessing to us. Though we are like branches on a tree that grows in different directions, our roots remain as one. My mother is my biggest inspiration in life. She is the member of my family that I love most. Okay, so this is my very first paragraph in the essay. I'll continue now with the second paragraph. Her name is Mrs. Dora Imojoro. She's 90 years old. Though she's a woman, I call her Father Abraham because she is a woman of great faith. Her philosophy about life is simple. She believes that everyone must make a personal decision to have a success-filled life and act upon it. To her, kindness and virtue are the two indisputable virtues that we need to survive. Okay, so that's my paragraph 2. Let's move on to paragraph 3. She is a calm and peace-loving person. Okay? The day I asked her how she manages to remain so calm in the midst of overwhelming issues of life, she held my hands, looked straight into my eyes, and told me that once I can figure out how to take a calmer energy for myself, I will have more clarity and command. Okay, so let's move on to the next paragraph. Hope you're following what I'm reading. She does not get easily triggered by other people's behavior or stressful situations. She gives super calm vibes that puts everyone at ease. She is a kind-hearted person who believes so much in the philosophy that givers never lack. She is a great fan of William Shakespeare's quotes, "The world is a stage and we're all players in it. We all have our entrance and exits." She often says that showing kindness and love helps in making the world a better place to live in, and that our exits will only be felt if we succeed in making our time on the stage of life worth it. In conclusion, I can boldly say that no one is like my mother. She's one person with the biggest heart I know. Someday I will have my own children and I hope I can be as great a mother to them as my mother has been to me. So that is it. Now let's analyze this essay using the Coema. We'll begin with the content. Okay? Now, do you think that the writer did a good job when it comes to the content? The truth is, yes, because the essay dealt extensively on the topic, so it can be considered a good essay with regards to the content. If the content had been about an entirely different subject matter, then the writer will be penalized for giving something that is not relevant to the central theme, and then we can now come forward and say, no, when it comes to content, the writer failed because the writer was asked to write on this, instead the writer was writing on my school or my friend. The next thing we want to look into now is the organization, because here the examiner wants to look into a lot of things. Does the essay have a suitable opening? Yes. The love of a family, whether immediate or extended, is life's greatest blessing. That's something very nice that would keep the reader going. Okay? The examiner checks for good development of ideas presented here. The examiner checks on good paragraphing, a suitable conclusion, and then coherence. If the essay falls short of the points raised, the writer, which in this case is you, would be penalized on the organization. Next, we have the expression. The examiner goes through the essay to check for good use of English, clarity, skillful and sophisticated use of figurative languages, sentence structure, and all that. So you put yourself in the examiner's place. If after writing you check and see that your work has fallen short of the examiner's expectation, what do? You go back and refix your work. That's the good thing about the Coema. It gives an opportunity to mark your work on your own before you present it to the examiner. Okay? That way you end up reducing your chances of getting low marks. For mechanical accuracy, you try to check for errors that has to do with spellings, grammar, and then of course punctuation. So if you go through your work and you see that everything under mechanical accuracy is not intact, then you know that there's a problem that you need to fix. So for mechanical accuracy, you try to write without making errors. Your sentence structure, you try to make sure that they vary. And when it comes to organization and linking, you try to produce a fluent piece of writing. So this is where we'll end our work for today. But before I go, I want to leave you with this. Develop a passion for learning. Okay? If you do, you will never, never cease to grow. So today you tell yourself, I will develop a passion for learning. Okay, so until I come your way next time, I want you to stay safe. I want you to be more studious than you've ever been. I want you to focus. I want you to be determined. I want you to tell yourself that no matter what, I will do everything it takes. Okay, so that is it for today. Bye and be good.